Everybody join in here 1 second, please. Do. All right. Awesome. Good. All right. Well, I hope everybody had a
Ooh.
great trading day today. So we're going to be wrapping up our series this week on buying the dip strategies. It's going to be a fun one. So today we're going to be talking about trend lines and basically geometric lines. Really cool stuff. But what a day, right? So the market continued to work its way up. Pretty impressive stuff. So real quick, guys, before we get started, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome. Good. All right. Well, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take and see where we left off in the market here today, and then we're going to take a look at the futures and see what we're up to or down to here this evening, what might be setting up going into tomorrow, which is Friday, by the way. And then we're going to take a look at the topic, and then we'll go through questions and chart requests. So let's get started. All right, so SPX guys up another 8 points here today. Still green, back to green on the monthly chart, right from yesterday, and nice and green here on the weekly chart, getting close to all-time highs to try to invalidate and take out this dark cloud cover candle right here. So let's see if they could push it tomorrow. Pretty interesting stuff. The McClellan also, this thing's a goofy thing, isn't it? It was up and now it's back down to the minus 84 level as things kind of went green. So let's see if they try to push this thing to all-time highs and where we go from there. Daily chart here on the SPX. Ooh, what happened here? Did I go? What do we got? This is weekly. Oh, I must have hit the wrong thing on this one earlier. There. So daily chart again, we talked about, wow, what a great week to talk about dip buys, right? So big bounce on 50-day moving average this week. We talked about the importance of that moving average for whatever reason, self-fulfilling prophecy, right? We got it back over the 80 MA yesterday, right? We got a little bit of follow through to the upside here today, and there was actually a big dip buy intraday today too. So pretty cool stuff. Let's take a look at the Elliott wave count. So now, guys, this is a really pretty impulsive wave right here, right? So so once again, right, you kind of have this really quick 1, 2, and then this boom, wave 3, and then this choppy wave 4. And it looks like we're finishing an ending diagonal here, wave 5, but this market continues to gap up. And we'll see if this wave just continues to stretch itself to the upside going into tomorrow. Eventually, it's going to give us some sort of corrective pattern, right? We'll kind of evaluate that and go from there. But in the meantime here, just obviously still bullish here until proven otherwise, until we can see it. So we may actually see a down Friday tomorrow, but who knows, right? So again, my guess is that we probably see chop until Wednesday, which is the Fed. So this might actually turn into kind of a really choppy type pullback, but we'll see how that goes, and then we'll see what the Fed has to say on Wednesday. So we got that going on. Let's take a look at the S&P futures. So S&P futures, guys, again, obviously same thing here, but let's see what we're up to or down to here this evening. So looks like we're up about 9 points right now. So they must have just kind of let's take a look here and see what we've got going on here. So this, what time was this? These are the after hours moves. Okay, so yeah, so this was the final candle today. Wow, they really pushed this thing after hours, didn't they? Good grief. So yeah, we closed here at this get. Wow, they really pushed this up. So we're just kind of chopping around here on this after. So it was really in that quick 1 hour session there after the close where things started to get really started to push their way up. So we're testing an old VPOC level here after hours. So we'll see what that does in the real market hours and kind of where we go from there. And we've got a pretty kind of steep geometric line here going into the evening. So we'll see how that holds. And I guess we can kind of, if we really wanted to, we could take it basically off of this low and kind of push it here too, just off of these two lows right here. But anyway, pretty interesting stuff. We'll keep an eye on those going into tomorrow. So good stuff, guys. So once again, we're going to be wrapping up our series here on buying the dip strategies, and we've talked about a few this week. There's a bunch of other ones out there, but I think these are really good, effective ones that we like, that just kind of keep in your arsenal. Can be good stuff to at least help to evaluate. So today we're going to be talking about trend lines. So trend lines, guys, are one of my favorite tools to use, and we also like to call it geometric lines. So a trend line, guys, as we've covered in the past, right? A trend line is where you go from the high to the low, and then you kind of stretch it where it doesn't intersect anything else, right? And that's your line right there, and it helps give you good breakouts. So here we had a breakout today, kind of retraced and started to work its way up. And a geometric line is where you basically take any kind of major pivot or turning point, you just kind of stretch it out to it, right? And then see where we get, some action. So what I really kind of want to do is kind of talk about that a little bit here today, and just to kind of emphasize that the market not only respects current geometry, but also has some, depending on some situations and on volume and all that stuff, it also has a respect for old geometry. And so I kind of want to go through a couple examples of that here today. So one of the examples here, let's go to the SPX here on the daily chart. So on the daily, a great example right here is, as you know, as we continue to make all-time highs, we continue to shift our trend lines as they work their way up, right? But we also get geometric lines along the way, right? So you can kind of see here that this was, an old trend line, old geometric line, and it kind of broke to the downside, but we never cracked it, right? And so a couple of things that we like to look at is how it respects that old geometry. And you can see here, even before this trend line, had set itself in play, look where we bounced, right? So let me give you a clear chart right here, so it doesn't completely lose its view, right? So let's take a look here one more time, right? So here at this point here, right, we could have looked at this as a fresh high, and this is your fresh trend line, right? But we broke down below it, right? And so but we broke down below it here, right? So that kind of gave it into until we got to a new trend line, then we shifted over. So what do we do before the shifts, right? And so so a lot of times before these shifts end up playing out, right, you can still use the old geometric lines, and sometimes they can still serve out as good support resistance. So just here, just from taking it from this level, and this is way after the Corona crash, you just kind of take it out here like this, and look how effective this has been here at this bounce right here, right, and this bounce right here. Even though the trend line had already been adjusted, right, for the the macro trend line had already been adjusted, and this one would have been adjusted as well. So for instance, if this were the one that we were actually using right here, we'd be essentially way down there. But the old geometry, right, still can play out and give us nice bounces, right? So so it's a great example, right? It's a great example here. Even this one here from the before we get to a fresh pivot point, right? So we got this right here. Right here to here, and you can see that still ends up playing out really well off of this last bounce. Of course, there was the 50-day moving average and other stuff like that was in there, but this can definitely be helpful. Let's take another look at an example of old geometry, and the new geometry obviously plays out well too, and we'll take a look at that there in example too. The Roku, right? So this is just a great one right here. This is the old macro downward trend line, right, off of this pivot and this pivot right here, working its way all the way down, right? And you can see how well this served as recent resistance, right? So, and just to the tick, even though it was already kind of taken out by a lot of price action right here, that one more retrace back to it was a big resistance level for Roku today. So very, very powerful stuff there. And of course, we have the, and you see this all the time with channels, for instance, Tesla, right? So the current geometry of, say like a channel or a trend line, and you can kind of see this here, off of, let me find another clean chart right here. Got all sorts of charts on this thing. All sorts of charts. There, right? So this down move, right? So we had initially, right? Of course, we had this, but look at that. I mean, just look at the current geometry of this one. Look at where we bounced off of this, right here. It really is incredible stuff, right? And it's still, this line is still serving as a very interesting area of line in the sand, and that's kind of one of the things I also wanted to talk about too. Is once we cross over these lines, they can the resistance can also become support on these non-horizontal lines as well. So this is a great example of the current geometry just playing out here to the downside. So very, very cool stuff. Anyway, guys, play around with that. Go through again. This is one of the most kind of the clever ones right here. I mean, you kind of do that even if you do this right here, or if you go this to this, this level to this level right here, you can see that still once it broke out of it. Look how it served as a couple bouncing points on this one too. So it is very interesting stuff, right? And of course, we have this geometry here, which is a prior. Once this was connected right here, we got a nice bounce off of it right here, off of the current geometry, and then it, at this point here, it touched it and bounced again. Now we're kind of struggling with it right now. So very, very powerful stuff. So definitely play around with it, and you'll start to get used to it. It's really fun to use. So good stuff, guys. Well, hopefully you found that helpful. At this point, if anybody's got any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and please feel free to play this chat. We'll get through as many as we can, try to wrap as early as possible so we can all get a good night's sleep and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. So good stuff. So Options Rocks sent a few in here via Twitter. So let's take a look at a couple of these. So wow, right? We've been talking about this one for a while, right? But it's been a pretty good one right here. I like the bounce off the ADMA on this one right here, and I like how it's holding its current geometry right here and continuing to bounce off of that. So let's see if we can get any fall through the upside. EXPI, let's take a look. EXPI, again, still it looks like a possible pause day here today, so let's see if that continue to work its way up. Loco doing pretty wild right here. It's got this geometric line that I would like to see it get above, but it has given a nice move right here. Let's take a look at Tizu. Tizu, yeah, so Tizu kind of careful of the tweezer top potential right here, but again, if it breaks over these levels right here, right, you might see a tag of the 50-day moving average, then we'll see if we can get above that. Trip, let's take a look. Trip kind of having trouble getting over the 200-day moving average. So again, still just kind of struggling down there, but we'll continue to track it and see how it goes. And then Cisco with a nice candle here today. Again, I think there's some news today they want to invest more in semiconductors, things like that. So Cisco's, I know, not really a semi company, but looking pretty good. Looking pretty good on the breakout right there. In fact, I like that enough to put on the bullish radar tomorrow for Cisco. Give me 1 second. Let me get that updated here. And tomorrow's Friday, guys. Tomorrow's Friday. I can't. What a week this week. So we'll see. We'll see what kind of action they give us tomorrow. So yeah. So I like Cisco, and Lulu had a big day today too. That was looking pretty interesting. All right, let's kind of keep an eye on those. All right, cool. So good stuff. Great finds on that one. Appreciate it, and hope you're doing great out there. Let's take a look here too. The Nest has got PD still on the radar. Let's take a look. Wow, big doji today. So let's see if it turns into doji sandwich, tries to work its way up. And you got Vizio too. Vizio again took the doji back down here to the ADMA, so a little bit blah on that one. ISRG, the big boy style. It's such a tough name to trade. Amazing to see this thing up at 1,000. Goodness gracious! But look at that breakout over this geometric line right here. Good volume right here. Just continue to plow its way up. Nasty candle here, but big recovery here today. 28 points, incredible. And then SSTK. Yeah, this one got some volume intraday here today. It's got kind of give a big pop here intraday. And started to get going. But we'll keep an eye on it and see how it goes. It's it's testing a lot of levels up here. You got kind of this triple top-ish type look to it. So just see how that holds. It's really right next to this. All right, so let's just kind of keep an eye on that and see how it holds. But definitely looking like kind of a cup and handle type pattern. So let's see if we can get some volume on it. Armando, good to see you. Happy Thursday. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, let's take a look at Amazon. Amazon, big day today on Amazon, right? Nice push, good volume here, back above the 80 MA on this one. So let's see if that continues to get any follow through to the upside. Dow with a pretty good push here today too after earnings. Yeah, so decent push there, got above the 80 man that one. So continue to track that, see if it gets any follow through the outside. Etsy, again, nice push right here. Again, we've got an alert on this one, so I like how we cracked this level, which is great. I really want to see it get above this geometric line here to get me super excited about it. So let's continue to monitor that. And then Lulu, just an incredible day today. Look at this, boom, big breakout here to, I thought it was, it's not all-time highs? Guess not. It's getting pretty close though. Wow. So getting really close up there, but a nice push here today over the recent highs. So good stuff there. Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for tuning in. And Messy, what's going on? Good to see you. Zoom. So Zumba was actually we were possibly charting this this bear pennant yesterday, but it decided to gap above the inside day. And anytime you see that, right, you really want to check for relative strength at the open for an early entry to see if you can get in it, right? So this gave a nice push right here and gave us a pop and ended up kind of just ended up faltering there after the 15 orb high on that one, but pretty cool stuff. Let's see if it continues to work its way up. Nasty upper shadow there and ended up closing back below the 80 MA, so a little bit of caution there. Shack, a little Shake Shack action here. It's kind of hanging in there. Let's see this geometric line right here. Let's see if we can kind of get above that, right, to kind of get us interested. But it's had a nice rally here off the lows here, so good stuff there. What else? Etsy we just looked at, and Mr. Softy. Let's take a look. There it goes. Look at that. Boom. Really strong here today. Big gap above this the prior highs and kind of gave its own little gap and go to. This was strong at the open too. It really liked that opening move. And then this is what we noticed intraday today is this kind of really tight range. It's kind of this drop-based rally triangle breakout right there. It's obviously tech is really strong here after hours after a lot of these earnings reports today, right? Strong stuff from Snap, Twitter, stuff like that. That brought up Facebook. That started to bring up all the other tech names too. So it's cool stuff there. I guess the wave continues, right? So JMOS, what's going on? Good to see you. AEMD. Let's take a look. Yeah, whoa, that gave you a scare today, didn't it? Look at that, big nasty pullback right there, but still ended up green, right? So, whoa, just kidding, right? So a huge dip buy on that one, but really nice stuff. Let's see if that continues to work up there for you. Let's take a look at UPC. Woo, big breakout on that one. Nice penny name on that. Let's see if that continues to get some follow through there too. ALZN. Sounds legit, right? So upper shadow here off the ADMA, a little bit of caution there. I think it's getting a little bit of a spike after hours, up to like 6:15 or something like that. I'm not really sure if there's any news on it, but it looks like they're trying to rally it up here after hours, but it could be interesting. And then EXR, let's take a look. Hanging in there, right? I know we've been tracking this one. Obviously, epic ADMA run on this one, but still below the ADMA today, but it's making a little bit of a push. Maybe we can get above it and get a little bit of an earnings run out of it. Good stuff there. Yeah, my pleasure. Angela, what's going on? Good to see you. Yeah, Facebook. I know. How high can it go? Exactly. So right now, it looks like we're in a gap above all-time highs. It's got some some big sympathy move there with Twitter after earnings and Snap. So keep an eye on it. I mean, even though it's not news based, it might do a technical gap and go tomorrow if it stays above these highs. Just watch your pre-market highs and see if you can get above there with some volume. So that's one to track. But also keep an eye on Twitter and keep an eye on Snap too. Both very very strong after hours. OTAS, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's take a look at UPS. So UPS again getting really tight right here. Again, very very tight range. Again, look for some volume on a breakout on this one. Might have to wait until earnings to kind of give us a clue, but we'll see how that goes. And then UNH. Let's take a look. UNH. Triple inside day, exactly. It could be a wild lotto on this one. So just see if it breaks tomorrow, and if it wants to get going. But yeah, that's a very rare setup right there. So let's see if it gets a little action off of that. Great find on that one. Love it. GG, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's take a look at Plug. Plug's a tough one for me to get excited about just because of their books, right? And it's back below the 80 MA on this one. So again, I'd like to see them, kind of make an announcement. They've their books are fixed, to show that they're like doing business. So we'll see how that goes. In Twitter again, guys, big push here. All-time highs 80.75. Actually, skip that. This might not be a gap and go. We're at 73.21, so we're basically at this pivot level right here. So it could, but this is not as exciting as maybe something like Snap. Which we'll take a look at it a little bit. BBIG, the B big, still struggling here a little bit, right? So back below the 80 MA volume is kind of just dried up on this thing a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. But good stuff there. Nick, what's going on? Good to see you. Yeah, Netflix. So Netflix is a really tight day. I'm actually expecting this thing to kind of come back up and retrace a little bit, maybe test the 200-day moving average and then continue to work its way down, just because of how heavy it was after earnings. But we'll continue to track that and see how it goes. But it might have a little bit of an update tomorrow, so see how that goes. AAL, let's take a look. Yeah, AAL had an opportunity for a big rebound here today after its earnings, and they just kind of ran out of steam. So it's kind of this outside spinning top day. So let's see if we can break above the high or the low of that and get some direction. Brooke, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's take a look at SE. Let's see how it goes. So, oh yeah, this is looking like a doji sandwich right here. A big strong move. Pause. Let's see if we can kind of get some upside follow through on that one. And then NVIDIA. NVIDIA also kind of looking like a doji sandwich, so keep an eye on that one there too. Dpen, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's take a look at Facebook. Again, let's take a look at Snap. Snap with a big gap here after hours, right? Big push here. This thing's gapping to all-time highs. So I would keep this on your gap and go radar tomorrow. So what do we mean by that? Gapping above all-time highs, right? And if we break above the pre-market highs with some volume, we may get a nice push going into tomorrow. The Nest, yeah, Cyber. Let's take a look. Cyber, yeah, nice push here today, right? So good inside day up on that one. Let's see if it gets any follow through the upside. And Thierry, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's take a look at NEO. NEO with an inside day, so kind of a pause day after its big move there. Let's see if we can break to the upside there too. Prashant, what's going on? Yeah, look at Crocs with the big push here today after earnings. Yeah, that had a really nice move right there. At this point now, you want to see if it can break above these highs to see if we can get any more upside follow through there. Loco with a crab pattern. Let's take a look. Yeah, there could be something kind of going on here. You kind of have this type thing. So it could be working. It may have already done its little pullback off of that, right? I mean, this could be a bigger one, but it gets a little bit tricky in there. So let's see how that goes. But again, I'd really like to see you get over that geometric line. But good find on that one. And Tamer, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's take a look at Boeing. Boeing kind of hanging in there back at the 80 MA and all that stuff. So kind of a pause day, but it is holding back the 200 day still. So that's good. And you got Baba. Big upper shadow off the 50-day and the cloud. So again, my big level I want to see this thing get above here is this geometric line right here, right? So let's see if we can do that, and it might not be until after earnings. So let's just kind of wait on that and see how it goes. And then Thierry, yeah, silver. What a tricky name this has been here. Just kind of this choppy, sloppy type stuff. It almost looks like an inverse cup and handle, right? So just be careful right here. Again, it's still below the 80 MA, the 200, and the 50, so it really has a lot of work to do to kind of get going on there. And then the next, you got TNDM. Let's take a look. TNDM, yeah, nice push here on this one. This was crazy W formation on that one, and nice breakout here today. So, but just volume is just not there to get me really super duper excited about. But good candle today, so good stuff there. And Prashant, yeah, thanks so much. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for the kind words. I really appreciate it. So, hopefully, you guys found this this discussion helpful today, and this week's series really helpful. Very very nice. These trend lines can be very very powerful stuff too. You don't need any moving averages or any other tools. You can use it to estimate a lot of stuff pretty well, which is nice. And when you combine that with price action and volume, it can be really really helpful. So the next, you got GDX and then inverse head and shoulder on the weekly. Maybe this kind of shoulder, head, shoulder. Maybe it breaks out above this the 40 level or something that could get interesting. There's a possibility there. So good. Good stuff, guys. Again, I really appreciate everybody for tuning in this evening. I hope everybody has a great one tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, so just keep that in mind if you like to trade weekly options. The momentum could be a little bit wild. But we're going to have fun tomorrow no matter what. So I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. We'll see you guys here on YouTube bright and early for the Good Morning Market Prep video. And for everybody that's in our group, we'll see you guys in the Bubble Report in the Discord tomorrow morning. I hope everybody has a great one. Again, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Stay healthy out there, and remember your risk first, and stay safe. See you in